Hello and welcome to the Ageless Core Part 2. In this little program is we just want to take some of the exercises that we did initially and say, how can we make them a little bit more challenging? How can we ramp it up a little bit? Again, still by using a small ball. So as you remember before, we place the ball in between the thighs because really what we're trying to activate again is that pelvic floor, those deep pelvic floor muscles by doing some squats, right? And once again, what we don't want to do is like squeeze the ball. There is no reason for that at all. So once again, I always like to have my clients start here and just breathe and feel their body engage. And then by adding, some flexion of the knees and extension of your spine from here really does start to give that awareness of the core. But let's kind of move on and take the ball now in our hands, because again, it's kind of a kinesthetic feedback, and placing the ball on the outer thigh. Once again, by pressing into the ball just a little bit, we're activating right underneath our armpit, which serratus anterior here. And so as we start to side bend, big wide stance in our thighs, think of pressing into the ball and notice what you feel. And then take the ball away and feel the difference from having that feedback with the ball on the thigh versus not. Let's do a couple more here. And now we're going to change it, placing the ball in the hands. Go in the same direction, but now press a little hard with your left and feel the difference. So you've got 3 different variations of the same movement, but yet we're adding a different feeling in the body. So going to the other side, again, as you reach down, and even by just having my right arm to my side is very different than actually reaching the arm up over the head, because now we're actually kind of talking to that superficial lateral line of fascia. So again, if we were to take the ball away and just reach here, that feels very different. Now, by pressing a little harder with the right hand, you're activating again a little bit more of the right side body and come in. So once again, if we can start to look at core training and movement literally as, every time our foot hits the ground. So let's go ahead now. And in the first one, we did this lunge here. So from here, what we're going to do though is take your right foot behind you. And now from here, as you hinge forward, pause for that moment and ask yourself, where am I feeling this? If we start to feel this part of our body, the gluteus medius and minimus, start to activate, that's exactly where you're absolutely right. Now, as we start to add rotation to this and come back to center, and even press into the ball a little bit and come back to center, that rotational movement here is starting to activate even more of the lateral body. So let's do 3, 2, and 1, and pause, come back to center. So again, other side, we cross behind, we place the ball here, and we go into that rotation. So this nice rotational movement here starts to really load up that glute and that whole area of the body. So the ball gets us in good alignment, right? All right, so secondly is kind of that kinesthetic awareness of reaction. So if I were to squat and reach up, but if I were to toss the ball and then start to bring the ball, because it's light, there's no load on it, I can start to play with the idea of looking at the ball with my eyes. This starts to change the position of my body, right? And I could get real crazy with that and throw it even higher. Or if I were a trainer, I throw it back and forth to my client. That gives you an idea of, if you were tossing back and forth, you can toss them back and forth on one foot. You can do a cross back lunge, then toss the ball. All these different modalities give a different reaction in the body, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's now go to, again, some of our kneeling stuff where we were here, and initially we put the ball underneath the sternum. Well, this time, what we're going to experiment with and play with the idea a little bit with is by placing the ball underneath your left hand. Now you're not pressing down really hard, but you're more weight dependent on the right side. Then when you lift up the opposite foot and you press down into the ball, just notice what you're feeling. Once again, a little bit of serratus anterior. So it's a lift and lower in opposition. Now you're not going to hear me say squeeze your booty or any of that silly stuff, but by pressing down, I'm having to balance here a little bit. All right. And so it's light, but it's making me concentrate on my alignment a little bit more. And again, what we feel, especially when we go into opposition exercises like this, which side of my body is more proficient? So pressing down and coming up. Once again, being in a prone position or hands and knees position really allows me to feel things. Now, with the ball back in between my knees again, and I'm here, and I just lightly engage those inner thighs, I feel the pelvic floor again. And now by tucking my toes under and lifting the knees and lowering back down, if I squeeze the ball like they hard here, hello hip flexors. But again, I'm floating. And even if I say, let's go to like a down dog, or even if we go to a full plank, again, that light engagement sort of helps us align our hips as well. So there's lots of options here, dropping the knees, floating the knees, a little bit of a down dog or pike, full plank here. We've got options. But our main goal here is we never squeeze the ball. And I know that is very counterintuitive to what we've been saying for years. I think for years, and we need a band here. I know for years we've been saying squeeze, tighten. We keep saying the word restrict. Restrict, restrict, restrict. And the more I restrict, the less movement I actually have. So with the ball now behind my back, just like we did in the first version of this, let's take our band, or you could use handheld weights, either way, but we're just adding a little bit of element now of, little element of difficulty, but we're really adding the element of progression. So once again, as you set back into the ball, you look up, you relax your legs, tell yourself my legs are relaxed. Then when we pull the band up over the head, and now I want you to just gently pull on the band and keep gazing up at the band as you pull and as you release. And once again, what I'm feeling here is a whole lot of work in the core. And again, core being my whole front of my body as well as the back. And now from here, at a pull, look over the shoulder, at a pull, over the shoulder, you're rotating and you're looking to see where you're going, and you're adding that element of upper body strength. Let's do a couple more here. One more. Last one. Come back to center. Now, once again, I'll face you. That looking in the direction that you're going is kind of is sort of the secret sauce. So once again, if I'm here and I'm pulling on the band and I lean back into the ball and I turn my head right and I turn my head left as I pull, that's very different than pulling and looking center. So once again, if I turn my head, add rotation, come back to center, release, rotate, and you notice I'm not going really far, but now try rotating, looking straight ahead. Again, the chain reaction is different. Now I'm actually creating, cervical rotation to my left because I'm moving to my right. Just as if I were to move my neck, I'm moving my thoracic spine around cervical versus cervical around thoracic. Whole different reaction to the core, and then come center. So again, this gives you some options, and you can always do this with weights as well. We're going to add on today into bridging. Now, with the ball again in between our thighs, we always tell our clients, squeeze your booty, which drives me crazy, or squeeze the ball. I don't want you to. Again, the ball is light. What I want you to think about doing is pressing the palms into the mat, and as you lift up, is to not engage your glutes, but to use the front of the body to lengthen and feel the pelvic floor and then lower back down. So press down as you lift and then lower right back down. So your goal right now is to feel the front of your body lengthen. Trust me, your glutes are already working here. But the more I tighten my glutes, the more I'm going to get it in the low back. But I think of engaging more of the front of the body to feel the lengthening because you're in hip extension. Remember, hip extension, the glutes are going to fire up anyway. And you're in knee flexion, so the hamstrings are already shortening here anyway. So let's do one more here. Lift and lower, and then just pause, and then go ahead and come on down. Now a good little stretch here after a bridge is to just place the ball underneath the tailbone and stretch the legs up. And then you get this really nice stretch in the back of your legs. And then go ahead and bring those knees in and come on up. We got lots of more exercises coming up in future videos, but hopefully this gives you an idea, a couple new ideas of how to use the ball in different position in our ageless core. Remember, ageless has nothing to do with your chronological age. Ageless is truly vitality and longevity. And that's what we're all striving for, whether you're 30 and you hope to make it to, your 70s, or maybe you're 60 and you'd like to make it into your 80s. And all of us want to make it, a long, healthy life pain-free. But if we train incorrectly, we're going to wind up with injuries, So train smart, train ageless, and stay tuned for more workouts coming your way.